Facebook. Mhm. Okay.
There we go.
Awesome. Good morning, everyone. It is Brenda here with Dr. Dave. Good morning, Dr. Dave. How you doing today?
Good morning. Fantastic. It's beautiful out. It's supposed to be 70 today, so I'm super excited
Woohoo!
about that. Nice and sunny because yesterday was a little chilly.
It was a
So
little
how about
chilly yesterday. Yes, it certainly was. So
how are you doing today?
I am doing awesome. Glad to be back at home, enjoying my peaceful space, and yes, enjoying the sunshine and all the beautiful weather. And yeah, great to be back here, and looking forward to doing more conversations with the divas and what ifs. So yeah, it's a great day. So I'm just shuffling up. So I've got our first card here. It doesn't seem that anything else is popping out. So I'm just going to choose Jasmine for our second one.
Oh,
And then the third one is Helichrysum. So we got some big, powerful oils today.
wow.
So grapefruit represents what we already have as our resources. So let's see what is going on today.
You said grapefruit was the first one?
Yep.
Okay. Awesome.
Open the curtains, open the windows, put your head out the window and breathe. Breathe in the wonderful fresh air. Feel the stagnant air flowing out and new fresh air flowing in. I'm Grapefruit and I help with clearing the air. I help remove stagnant, blocked energy from your environment, as well as all aspects of you. Breathe in my scent, the freshness, the clarity, and clearing out what no longer serves you. Well, this is a nice one, especially for this time of year, because it's nice to open up those windows and let that nice, warm, fresh air in, especially
Mm-hmm.
with the lilacs and apple
Mm-hmm.
blossoms and all those wonderful flowers that are so fragrant are blooming and letting all those beautiful scents into your environment as well. So for what we have is we have the ability to breathe. We have the ability to release that stagnant energy within us and fill our lungs and our body with fresh air and fresh ideas and just so many different things. Instead of getting stuck where you are, take a look around. What needs to shift? What needs to change? I'm not talking about big renovations, anything like that. Maybe there's a corner where it's a catch-all. When you come in the door, you just dump everything there, and maybe it needs to be tidied. Maybe you can get rid of all that stuff. Maybe it's time to get rid of some stuff and pass it along for someone else to benefit or enjoy, because it's past what you've needed. You no longer use it, but it's still in the closet, taking up space. So when you do that and you clear that, what it does is it brings in new energy and it creates space for new things and new ideas and just a breath of fresh air. Plus, it feels really good. So, clearing out those spaces within ourselves. So, for instance, maybe you signed up for a course a couple of years ago and it's still there and you haven't done anything with it. And it's holding on to you like an anchor, and you're just like, I'm not really even interested in it anymore. Okay, then let it go. Delete all the stuff for it. Yeah, you paid some money for it. Okay, but all it's doing now is stopping you from moving forward because you keep your foot back in that doorway and you can't go any farther. So let it go. If you're not interested anymore, gift it to somebody else. But if it's like got a diploma or something, they're probably it'll go in your name, but just let it go. Release it, knowing that the universe has your back and nothing in the universe is ever lost. So new things will be coming in. So what have you got to say, Dr. Dave?
I was wondering, the question that I was asking was because we had that last week also for grapefruit, and we've had it quite a few times before that as well. So my question is all right, well, why are we continuing to get this? What's still needing to happen, and that people are still needing to hear, and that we need to hear? And it dawned on me that it might be worth some mentioning and thinking about is a lot of times, folks, we get something that pops up for us that we have to clean out, like you were talking about. So we're getting rid of a lot of the things that are no longer serving us, only taking up space or are still attached energy wise. After we do that, especially if it's something that we really had to work through to get rid of, do you go back and find out, is there anything left? Is there anything else that was sitting underneath that,
Hmm.
mess that still needs to go too, that you didn't even get to see because you had to remove the first layer? And so, even emotionally, and are there other underlying issues underneath the first layer of dust, if you will, that we need to really look at? It doesn't still mean that it's this deep, massive cleaning, but was it sitting on something? Was there, that we like a box or something that you're moving? Well, what's under that? Is that still serving you? Is it a foundation or is it still clutter?
Mm.
That's what the imagery that was coming forward as when I asked that question. I'm like, all right, what are we still not? There's still something that we're holding on to. So what else are we still, needing to move? And that's super important. The other part is if we do realize that there isn't anything there, that yeah, it's good, great, awesome. One thing that you want to remember is to give that space of gratitude um, for whatever the lesson was that it served.
Yes.
And so, in that instance of gifting that course to someone else, maybe that was the only reason that it was there, was for you to realize, like, I thought it was for me. It's not. Let's gift it to someone else. Great. There's the lesson. Be thankful, and be
Hmm.
grateful about it. Like, great. I made it. All right. It took me a little bit, but I made that decision and choice, and let it flow through you. And instead of stopping and taking residence for a year, and then like, oh, I probably should do something. So identifying that we can start doing that on the fly also, but are there other things that we can just start letting go? Because it's going to open up for your space for us, if because we want to stay in that continual flow. So I guess that to me, that's what that question is. The imagery that came up is take a look at what either is still there left that needs to be cleaned, moved, released, or well, not even or, and it definitely should be an and. We should always have gratitude for whatever it is, whether we're getting rid of something or even if it's I'm giving gratitude that I don't gotta clean anything underneath that damn thing. You know, wherever that box was that we moved or whatever it was, great. And so just recognizing that and staying in that space of gratitude. So that's where I am. Yay.
Absolutely. And not to beat yourself up about it.
Right? Absolutely.
It's done. There was a reason. Maybe the reason was to gift that to somebody else. Maybe that's what they've been searching for and they didn't know until you're like, hey, I've got this course that I'm not going to be doing. And then it's like, oh my goodness, that is exactly what I needed. So the universe works in very mysterious ways, but don't beat yourself up. Releasing means let it go entirely. It doesn't mean, okay, I've let that go, but now it's like, holy crap, man, you could have spent your money on something better than that. And blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, you let it go entirely. It's like, okay, thank you for the lesson. I purchased this. Now I'm able to gift it to somebody else. How cool is that? And you let it go. That's it.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah, because with that, just as you were talking about that, it dawned on me that sometimes we might not even recognize that it never was for you to begin with. It was for you to
Yeah.
hold on to give to that person at the right moment, for them. And the universe had to fool us into thinking it was for us until then we're like, oh, I know where this is supposed to go. That's
Hmm.
great. So,
Absolutely. And the
oh,
universe is
right on.
using you as this beacon to be able to help others. So, how cool is that?
Hmm.
All right. So, our second one is Jasmine. And Jasmine is all about what we need to release. Oh, release. Look at that.
Fun.
I love how the universe
That's
works. It's
great.
just so funny. Hi, I'm Jasmine. I am happiness. I am unconditional love. Are you exhausted? Do you need some love and nurturing for yourself? Are you fear of intimacy or getting close to a partner? Hmm. So this falls in line with what we were speaking about with grapefruit on loving yourself unconditionally
Mhm.
and caring for yourself to let things go and not hold on. Don't beat yourself up about stuff that you've done in the past. There was a lesson for you to learn. And the main thing is to learn the lesson so it doesn't happen again. Because if you don't learn the lesson, it's going to come back around and bite you in the butt again because you're not listening and you're not learning. So when you're looking at things and you're grateful and you've got that sense of gratitude, then you can say, thank you for that lesson. Got it. I'm going to move forward now and let things go, just like we were speaking about in grapefruit. And that means for relationships as well, like fear of getting close to somebody or connecting or putting yourself out there, because if you've had bad relationships before, that kind of sticks with you. It's like, no, nope.
Right.
So, it's worth looking at to see, what is underlying under there. Like Dr. Dave said, what's under that trunk that you got in the corner there that's turned around so you'd have to shift it around to open the lid. And then what's underneath there? Is there a trap door under there that may be hiding something? But
Mhm.
it's really good to take a look at it. Are you choosing? Are you consciously choosing to do what you do, or is it a fear of something which is stopping you from doing it? Those are two totally different things. Now,
Mhm.
I consciously choose, I'm quite happy with my life, and I consciously choose to be by myself because I love spending time with my family, my grandchildren, and my children. And that brings me joy. And I am quite happy. I've got enough to keep my busy. And
Mhm.
that's my life and I love it. And there is no fear because that's not something that, really it doesn't concern me at all. I'm not fearful because it's like, well, that's something that I'm not choosing. So I choose to be who I am and do what I do. So, but if it is a fear, then, it's something to take a look at and see why you're fearful. Is it because of an old relationship? And if you've learned that lesson, then you can go, okay, well, I learned the lesson in that last relationship. So I'm not going to go through that again. And then you can move forward with gratitude and really focus on what you do want, which is
Mhm.
consciously creating.
Right.
How about you, Dr. Dave? What's your thoughts?
You know, jasmine is it's a beautiful oil. I don't know any other way to say that. It's just beautiful. The scent is definitely magical. And to me, it's very similar to lilac, which I wish we had
Mhm.
an oil for.
Me
Um,
too.
uh, I couldn't even imagine how expensive that would be to try to produce. Because it's jasmine itself is super expensive, if it's authentic. And so because it's such a delicate flower and there's a very specific time that it can be harvested for its most potent part of its healing properties. So if it's not harvested during that specific time of the day, it's only a few hours out of the day that it can be harvested to be able to capture the best part, the most potent part of that oil to produce that oil. Otherwise, you're getting less of it. So I guess that's really part of the 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 lesson out of it with Jasmine is, you know, if we have, okay, if we have trauma, we have fear attached from other situations, relationships, is it serving us and how much is it actually serving us? Is it truly serving us to continue moving forward with that posture?
Hmm.
And so, is it appropriate to have that full on guard part going into a relationship, or should we dial that back just a little bit? Is it appropriate to go into a brand new relationship with full body armor, kind of thing, and walls completely all the way up? Yeah, it was a way to protect us to get through what we just went through in other relationships or events. Is it, though, appropriate to go into the very next? How much of that do we need to take in, or can we use that as just a filter to look at when there's a red flag for us to go, oh, I know exactly what this is, how that goes. We're not doing this.
Hmm.
But also allowing us to still continue moving forward. And so that's, I believe, how that's supposed to happen when we're looking at all of those lessons that we've learned through our relationships and experiences is it's to help better arm us for a higher version of the next and the next and the next. So finding out where it's appropriate and how much of that protection is appropriate. And if we're never allowing ourselves to come back into our innocence, because that's really what it boils down to, is if you're not coming back into and allowing yourself to have that innocence again and that childlike fun and love and connection, whether it's in nature or it's in relationships, any of those things, then why are we here?
Hmm.
Um, Really, it's not, that's the joy that we're keeping from ourselves. Just because it was so painful from other situations doesn't mean that's what it's going to be next. And so giving the opportunity that our innocence can be restored into the next relationship, into the next experience is really the gift of Jasmine.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're walking around with that suit of armor on, it can
Mhm.
get pretty heavy at times. So letting it go and just opening up to the possibilities, of, what's next, or what if I did this? So great. Yeah. So now the last one is how all this is going to manifest out, and then it's Helichrysum again.
Mm.
Yeah, some big heavy hitters today.
Absolutely.
Hey, I'm Helichrysum, and I help remind you to take a step back and breathe. Calm and centered is my mantra. Being calm and centered helps me work with you on a deeper level, gently removing emotional blocks. Oh, there's that removing again. Animals love me too, restoring patience and persistence. If you're having a rough go of a situation or trying to manifest a goal, my essence can help you find the strength to keep moving forward one step at a time to the realization of your goal. So this is an awesome one because it just kind of wraps everything up, is take a step back, because if you're going full force and you're forcing things, it's just making it so much more difficult for the universe to do what it wants to do in order to give you the best that it can. And with you forcing it, it's really hindering what the progress is. But if you take a step back and you breathe and you look around and go, okay, well, this isn't moving us forward as easily as I thought. Maybe there's something that I'm missing here. Maybe I need to take a moment to allow the universe to step in and do some work in the background before I move forward. Or if you're struggling with your goals or being persistent and committed, that's a big one, especially if you don't see your goals happening right away. Because, like, might as well just forget about it then because it's not happening. Well, just like I've said numerous times before, we don't keep digging up seeds after we plant them because we know they will eventually come through the dirt and be who they are, just like our goals. So there's universal time, and that's pretty much all there is universal time. Because our time doesn't matter when it comes to the universe or our goals, because there's so much that needs to go on in the background that the universe puts into place without us even knowing, and the intricacies that have to happen in order for us to really truly manifest into what the universe has planned for us. And it's usually so much bigger and so much more awesome than we could ever imagine. So bringing in Helichrysum to help to be and to know within your heart that all things are as they should be. There is a reason why this isn't working out, or maybe it's full steam ahead. But just take a look at what's going on. What are those different things? Maybe there's some more releasing that needs to do before you can step into who you really are, especially if there's emotional attachments from past experiences that you're like, well, that happened last time, so it probably won't happen again. Well, that's something you need to release. That's a given right there, because just because it happened in the past doesn't mean it's going to happen in the future. It was because you made a choice with all the information you had at that moment, and you made the best choice possible. And then after that, you hopefully learned the lesson and you went, oh, okay, well, now I can make a better choice. So lesson learned. You don't need to attach emotions to it, because now you're going to make a different decision based on all the other information that you have learned up to this point. And that's how we learn. That's how we grow. That's how we transform. It's not mistakes, they're lessons, they're experiences. It's like, well, if you just stayed on the couch all day and you never did anything, well, you're not going to learn anything. Making mistakes helps you learn. Okay, well, that didn't work out as well as I thought. Right, let's go this way then. Let's do this. Let's try this. And that's when things really start to happen and manifest, is when if you feel that resistance, take a step back, take a look at what's going on. Ask yourself, what's in there that's holding me back? And instead of going, well, I don't know, but what if I did know? Would it be? And then sit with it. Don't let your brain go, I don't know. Just send them out for vacation for a bit and just go, well, if I did know, what would it be? And just sit with that and let it percolate for a bit, because you will get an answer. And it's probably going to be something like, holy crap, I didn't even know that I was holding on to that. So we're going to let that go now. So what say you, Dr. Dave?
Oh, that was great. That was great info. Awesome. Love that. You, Helichrysum, it is to help give us that focus and the strength to move through some of the traumas that we've had, and the anguish, the pain. Something that we do as humans, which is hilarious, that I got to see in my practice all the time. If you hurt yourself, or you have pain, the first thing we do is we hold our breath. So if you stub your toe, first thing you do is you hold your breath. It makes zero sense, but it is our human reaction. It happens always. It's usually something that we're not even able to control. It's something that's subconscious. It makes no sense because it's the exact opposite what we need to happen. We actually need to breathe through it, which actually allows us to move through the pain. Why am I saying all that? Reason is if you've got some of that trauma and anguish and pain that's there, are you giving yourself that gift to fully take a breath in and breathe all the way in? Are you holding your breath? Are you just top breathing from the top of your chest? Are you getting way down deep and taking a full breath to be able to see and feel what's happening around you and what's happening in that situation, which also connects you to the present now? Most of the time, we're not. If we're in pain, our first reaction is going to be we hold our breath. Emotionally, same thing. If the first thing that you notice are coming into a relationship or a new situation and you have some history of trauma and the first glimpse of something that could be very similar to that experience you had, the first thing we do is we hold our breath and now we're not breathing through it to see if you actually did stay in that moment, take a regular breath and breathe into it. Then we actually get to find out, was that actually a truth? Was that actually real? That this is
Mhm.
that red flag we needed? Or was it, no, that was just simply a trigger for you to see if you're paying attention, and that actually isn't what's happening right here because this is a different person. It's a different time. It's a different situation. So allowing yourself to take that breath and really checking in that if it does have a trigger, okay, great. That means it's doing its job, but now breathe into it so that we can figure out if we're going to move through that or are we going to, get our ticket and run. Either one, great. But we do need to take that time, that moment to take that full breath in, get into it. And when we ask some of those questions, is this here now or whatever? When we're going through those series of questions and we're hearing the I don't know. My response, and I am super in front in people's faces about it. My response always, and this is an automatic response, is you are too old to be able to use I don't know. You're not three. Nope.
I like that.
And so I usually that usually leaves my voice box before I know it's going to, but I know it's coming because nope, no, you're not three, then you don't get to have that answer. You might not know now because we need to breathe into it to find out why this is here, why I'm having this resistance, why I'm any of those things. But do not allow yourself to escape by saying, I don't know. Nope, nope. You are too old to be able to try to use that excuse. Knock it off. Get in there, breathe into it, and it's for you. That's a wonderful finite thing that we get to experience and do. Helichrysum gets to those deeper levels of things and allows us to let it go, release it, and it also lets us have the celebration of woohoo, look at you, you did that, you recognized it, figured out, nope, that's not it. I'm actually going to be able to enjoy the rest of this experience. Or like, great, you did notice that. Oh, dodge that bullet. I don't like that term now that I just said that out loud, but you get the point, right? So
Mhm.
that it did exactly what it was supposed to. So the way that things are going to turn out, that's the position of this card, and it's Helichrysum. Give yourself the gift of breathing into everything so you can make a conscious choice of what it is that you're willing to experience. Yep, that's it.
Absolutely. That's a really good reminder because so many times it's just like, oh, I don't like that feeling. And, you just do everything you can to stop it instead of breathing in and going, is this actually mine? Because we are receptors for all these thoughts and ideas and everything that's floating around here in the universe. And what is it, 95% or 97% of all the thoughts that come into our brain aren't even ours.
Hmm.
So, take a look at that and see, breathe into it going, is this something that I'm feeling or just something I've picked up that's just kind of floating through at the same time? Because you'll know if
Right.
it's yours, it'll feel light. It'll feel, okay, well, yeah, this is something I need to work on. All right, well, let's let it go. And if it feels really heavy, it's like, this is a lie. This isn't mine. I don't need this and I don't resonate with it, and let it go. So,
Mhm. Yeah.
well, this has
Yay.
been a wonderful conversations with the divas. Thank you so much for joining me, Dr. Dave, and
Oh,
your
thank you for having
insights.
me.
And oh, no problem. And
Okay.
yeah, we will be back here next Monday with conversations with the divas. And if you want to stay tuned, we will be right back with what if and lots of positive possibilities. So have a
Yay.
wonderful day wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much, Dr. Dave, and we'll
My
talk to
pleasure.
you soon.
Bye, everybody.